I've been very fortunate to be friends with both Molly Fausone and this year's honoree. Molly is one of my older sister's best friends. I've always admired Molly, and I've continued to be amazed by her now. To me, the remarkable thing about both Molly and this year's recipient is that when you're talking with them, the physical and psychological obstacles they've encountered are completely overshadowed by their motivation and their contagious love of life. They are both heroes in every sense of the word. When I went on my Kairos retreat, I got a much better appreciation for the fact that each one of us has a unique story. We've grown up through different circumstances, and those distinct experiences made us who we are today. Even though we see each other every day at school, on Kairos, I was able to see for the first time the different layers in my classmates that I never even thought existed. I met this year's Fausone medalist on the bus last year, the 421 bus that heads down Lake Avenue after school. We were both on our way home, and she got my attention because she was telling jokes and seemed to be having a good time. I'd seen her before, but I didn't know her name or even if she was a junior like me. The first thing I noticed as she started laughing was her smile. That smile, I thought, represented an open, easygoing nature that I couldn't deny for 1 second. Our connection started there. Since then, a friendship developed. We stop and chat before we get kicked out of the library, and I give her a lift to her job at a orchard when I can. But the bus is far from where her story starts. Her journey begins in a world far away from Loyola. To help you understand our honoree story, you will need a brief history lesson, African history. That's where it begins, 15 years ago in the Republic of the Congo, a small West African nation that sits on the equator near Gabon and Cameroon. The Congo's democratic progress was derailed in 1997 when the two ruling leaders started to fight over power. As presidential elections approached, tensions between these two camps mounted. In a show of force, the opposition party mobilized a fierce military group, the Cobras, who terrorized the cities and the villages with their brutality. This uprising lasted for months, and it destroyed much of Brazzaville, her hometown, and caused tens of thousands of civilian deaths. The resulting truce was uneasy, leaving no trust between neighbors. The reality of that situation is hard to fathom for me. While I played hide-and-go-seek with my friends in my neighborhood, she has terrifying memories of hiding under the bed as the Cobras hunted for her with their machine guns. When I was running around outside school during recess, she recalls running in the streets for her safety. One of her earliest memories is how she received a scar on her forehead. She remembers being in the street when gunfire broke out. She started running. She was running so fast and was so frightened that she tripped and hit her head. The scar reminds her of the grim reality of her homeland. Her nation's civil war took its toll in other ways, as it placed a lot of stress on her family. These are the more painful scars left from her childhood. The memories of her father are vivid, though there are very few of them. She fondly remembers visiting him at his job and cooking dinner for him when her mom was at work. She also recalls walking with him hand in hand while neighbors all around them ran from machine gun fire in the streets. She was her father's shadow. Together they were safe. Together they were strong. That was the gift her father gave her, strength. When she was 8 years old, her dad fell sick. Illness and malnutrition were a side effect of the war, and the healthcare system wasn't sophisticated enough to manage. She would often witness her father vomiting blood. As things got worse, he went to the hospital. In the hospital room, he was left untreated, and being denied the appropriate care, he died. In looking back, she reflects, when he passed, I felt like part of me was gone too. After her father's death, she and her mom clung together. Though they didn't have a lot of money, they were close. She learned how to cook and care for herself by watching her mom. Her mom sold things in the local marketplace in order to care for them. From her mother's example, she learned how to be the independent person that she is today. That was the gift that her mother gave her, independence. Though the country was torn, life went on. When they had the occasion, they enjoyed many mother-daughter moments. shopping for matching clothes, painting their nails, and just getting their hair done. But given that the civil unrest in the Congo was slow to improve, her mother faced a heart-wrenching dilemma. How do I provide a safe environment for my daughter to grow up in? Her answer to this question was really the ultimate sacrifice. Though they were very close, our honoree's mother sent her to the United States when she was in the 5th grade for a slice of the American dream. Her mother valued safety and education more than anything else. So she was willing to send her daughter over 7,000 miles away for a chance at these things. The importance of this moment wasn't really clear to her until she was at the airport and saw her mom crying, that she realized that this just wasn't any other trip. She didn't know how far away the United States was. She thought it would just be another temporary stop along the way. And she never thought that it would be for forever. What she knew of the United States amounted to the land of McDonald's and what she had seen in movies or learned in history class. She traveled to O'Hare Airport alone. I can't imagine how scary that must have been. When I was in the 5th grade, I wasn't even allowed to ride my bike out at night. She was met by a relative whose sister had transitioned to America. Along the way, she interacted with an immigration attorney who went out of his way to provide additional assistance. To this day, he and his family remain a big part of her life. Upon her arrival, she was only able to speak French and her native tongue, Lingala. Determined to succeed and open to the new opportunities around her, she visited her local Chicago library alone to learn English. When school started in 6th grade, she always carried a French-English dictionary with her. She joined the basketball and volleyball teams just to get extra practice speaking English. Within 6 months, she was speaking conversationally and was a star player on both of those teams. As she settled into her new life in America, she still yearned for the love and support of her family back at home. Calling home to speak with her mom in Africa, however, was expensive. It cost over $1 per minute, and actually making a connection proved difficult. When they did speak, her mom always gave the same advice: be humble, be respectful. Things will be hard, but you can get through it. Sadly, after years of infrequent contact, she learned that her mother had died, leaving her with no parents and no chance of returning to the Congo. In one of their last conversations, she taught her mom how to say, "I love you," in English. But more than anything, she wishes she could have had a chance to say goodbye. Today, she knows her mother gave her the ultimate gift of love, to give her child a better future. She says, "She was a loving and wonderful mother and my best friend." Clearly, our winner's perseverance and resiliency are boundless. Still determined to succeed, and without the advantages that many of us take for granted today, she threw all of her energy into Loyola. She balanced school, track, work, and membership in several clubs with her service work at Howard Daycare and Jordan Elementary School. Anyone who knows her today would have never known of her past life. She speaks English like any other Chicagoan, and in fact, her teachers wonder if she'll ever stop talking. Even more remarkably, the young girl who was forced to run from bullets in the Congo is today Loyola's record holder in the 100-yard dash, making her the fastest girl in Loyola's history. Given her background and her enjoyment of sociology, ethics, and justice seminar, she intends on pursuing issues related to law and immigration. She will begin her college career next fall at the University of Illinois, where she will also be a member of their track team. The story of this year's recipient is not easy to tell. As we often love to remember the simple joys of our childhood, we are reminded that sometimes our stories are painful. For this honoree, her obstacles have never slowed her down or silenced her smile. That is her gift to us, inspiration. May we always remember the simple power behind a smile. That, for me, was definitely the case with hers. May we each face our conflicts with as much determination and spirit as this year's Fausone Medalist Award winner, Debbie Mokeleba.